owned by Richard W. McCord and Denise R. McCord, as shown on Williamson County Tax Map 42H, Group C, Parcel 2.01, from RS40 to Town Center Overlay District, without designation, approximately 0.48 acres. Is anybody here to speak on the matter? Are the property owners present? Okay.
Mayor, if I may,
Yes.
just quickly, if I could have, I talked to Mr. Humber about this before the meeting, if I could just quickly have him briefly describe what Town Center Overlay District is. I've had a lot of people ask me that question, and just think it'd be better to come from Mr. Humber.
I'll be glad to. The Town Center Overlay District, it's basically designates what will be developed for our town center. Okay, and then we have a plan for this Town Center Overlay. These properties listed here are all in that plan to be part of the town center. So when these people came to me and asked about rezoning, we looked at the plan and saw that it was intended to be town center. So I said, why don't we go for that town center designation? It will require another rezoning before it's redeveloped, though. It'll either be multifamily or commercial, but it'll come back. What we have is, it's in an area where it could be multifamily or commercial. But rather than designate one of those now, we just showed it would be part of our town center, because we're looking to grow. That's one of the directions our town center would grow in, over to Cox Pike. And that's why it's shown as undesignated, but it also really what it's doing is implementing the plan we already have for that property. And so it tells people, if these people with their property together, if somebody wanted to, buy that, it tells them we're looking for, be part of our town center.
I think I have seen somewhere floating around either a concept drawing or map that shows the Town Center Overlay.
Yeah.
Can we make that, is that available to the public, or can we make that available to the public to see?
Oh, sure we can, yes.
Yeah, we do have one, and I think it can be put online for a period of time anyway, while this discussion is going on, until it's over with. And anytime we have any kind of discussion on this coming into the overlay map, we can put it back online for a while.
Sure.
Okay, item B, bill number 201434, ordinance 856, an ordinance to change the zoning of a certain property in the city of Fairview, Tennessee, located at 7159 Cox Pike, owned by Roger E. Lampley and Deborah Hall Lampley, as shown on Williamson County Tax Map 42H, Group C, Parcel 2.02, from RS40 to Town Center Overlay District, without designation. Anybody here to speak on the matter? Come ahead. Sure.
Step up.
Yeah, go to the microphone, please.
I have a question about the density. Is it written anywhere in the ordinance or in the statute or in the definition of town overlay that determines the density, or is the density up for future determination?
Okay. Would you like to answer that?
Sure, I'll be glad to. It's really up for future determination. Before we would rezone the property for multifamily under the overlay, we would agree, we would have a plan that would show what the density would be, and then that would be approved. As developments come in, we'll look at what the density is. It's not totally unlimited, though, but it is something that will be looked at by each individual development.
So is that typically the way density is always determined, per
Well-
development?
Well, not necessarily, but in a town center, you know, that's where you'd want your highest density in residential. So, it's possible, that's why this is, part of a town center. We're looking at, we want to have the flexibility to attract development that, for instance, mixed use, where we have residential on top of retail. That's why we're trying to be prepared for, we want that type of development to come in and be part of our town center.
Thank you.
1 second, I'm sorry, I didn't ask for you to state your name, but we have to have you state it for the record and your address, please.
My name's Colleen Van Fossen, and I live at 7801 Pinecrest Court.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, I'm going to move on to C, Bill number 201435, ordinance number 857, an ordinance to change the zoning of certain properties in the city of Fairview, Tennessee, located at 7119 Cox Pike, owned by Elton C. Hall and Deborah Hall, as shown on Williamson County map 42H, parcel 3.0, from RS40 to Town Center Overlay District, without designation, approximately .58 acres. Anybody here to speak? Property owners here? Okay. Anybody else? Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
I just had my vice mayor volunteer to read some of them, so I'll give him a turn.
That's okay.
Okay, item D.
Item D, Bill number 2014-36, ordinance number 858, an ordinance to change the zoning of certain property in the city of Fairview, Tennessee, located at 7151 Cox Pike, owned by Elton C. Hall, Deborah L. Hall, as shown on Williamson County Tax Map 42H, parcel 3.00 from RS40 to Town Center Overlay District, TCOD, without designation, approximately 1.30 acres.
Okay, anybody here to speak on the matter? And property owners are here.
Item E, Bill number 2014-37, ordinance number 859, an ordinance to change the zoning of certain property in the city of Fairview, Tennessee, located at 7114 Wiley Circle, owned by Roger E. Lampley and Deborah Hall Lampley, as shown on Williamson County Tax Map number 42H, Group C, parcel 1.00, from RS40 to Town Center Overlay District, without designation.
Anybody here to speak on the matter? And owners are here.
F, number 2014-38, ordinance number 860, an ordinance to change the zoning of certain property in the city of Fairview, Tennessee, located at 7112 Wiley Circle, owned by Roger E. Lampley and Deborah Hall Lampley, as shown on Williamson County Tax Map 42H, Group C, parcel 2.00, from RS40 to Town Center Overlay District, without designation.
Anybody here to speak on the matter? Property owners are here.
Item G, Bill number 2014-39, ordinance number 861, an ordinance to change the zoning of certain property in the city of Fairview, Tennessee, located at 7169 Cox Pike, owned by Margaret McCord, as shown on Williamson County Tax Map 42, partial 179, from RS40 to Town Center Overlay District, without designation, approximately 1.30 acres.
Anybody here to speak on the matter? And the owners are here. Okay, that's all. A meeting adjourned.
Nope, now we have to read it all again.
I would like to call the meeting to order. We are now opening at 7:10 on December 18th, 2014. We will start by prayer and pledge, and I would like to invite Mr. Ron Rowe up to lead us in a prayer. Hang on 1 second.
Heavenly Father, we're gathered here tonight to do the work of the city. And Lord, we just ask you to give wisdom and discernment to all the BOC members and all the staff. And Lord, we're just so thankful that we have this town and that we're moving forward, and we ask for your blessings. And Lord, we thank you for the birth of your son, which we're going to celebrate next week. Lord, it's so important that we remain committed to you, Lord, that you saved us by grace. And Lord, we just ask you to bless all the citizens of Fairview and be with all of those who are hurting, who are hungry. Lord, just bless them. Thank you, Lord.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Present. Harvest. I pledge allegiance
To the
To the
flag of the United States of America and
and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
order. Harvest. Right. Face. Forward. March.
I would like to thank Fairview High School for joining us tonight. Sergeant Turk, they're going to start coming once a week, and I really appreciate them taking their time and leading us. Keep up the good work. Okay, second item is approval of the agenda. Okay, we have a first and a second. Anything else? Any discussions, anything to add? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Third item on the agenda is citizen comments.
Mayor, there are no citizens' comments tonight.
Okay, thank you. The fourth item is the business spotlight. We have with us Anytime Fitness is 7048 City Center Way. Owner Ray Bear, is that right? Are they here tonight?
They're not here, and he did say that something possibly was going to come up, so he apologized if he wasn't able to make it. Hopefully, we can schedule him at another time. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. And awards and recognition.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, I'd like Brandy Johnson to step to the podium with me. Brandy, you're my choice for Employee of the Month. I want to thank you for your work that you do for us. She does a great job, not only with her normal duties, tax collector, business tax, several other chores that she has to do, but she's done a great job this year in arranging a lot of our extra work, such as the Christmas tree lighting, the 3rd of July, the economic forum at the Camp Marymount this year. She just takes on any chore that we asked of her, and I want to thank her for her diligent work, and I really appreciate what she does to help me out. You? We have one other everything that Brandy and Tom are going to present.
Y'all coming up here? Okay.
All right. Ron's gonna help you with it.
Received this yesterday afternoon and wanted to present it tonight. I want to thank Mr. Rowe, who's the one who initiated the project, and thank the anonymous citizen who did this lovely design for us. Soon we'll be hanging it out front. We're waiting on some new flags from our state representative so that we can hang this with them.
Move it back forward, Tom.
We just wanted to share this with you tonight.
Good job.
Any more, Mr. Hall, from the city staff?
That's all I have. Do y'all?
Okay. Any commissioners? Okay. Public announcements.
I'd just like to announce the emission testing on Monday and Tuesday from 7:30 till noon.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, I know tomorrow's a half day at the school, so a lot of kids will be excited to get out of Christmas break. Parents, don't forget, it's a half day at school, so come pick them up early or make arrangements. Item number 7, approval of the minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, 8, old business. Discuss and take action on second reading Bill 210433. Let you go
If I
on.
can, this is basically, I don't want to bore you or anything, this is basically the same thing we just got through reading a minute ago. Larry?
It is, but unfortunately, considering the severe penalties for not doing this that's found in our charter and in TCA section 62215, we'll have to read them again.
We understand, but I think we're moving to fix that.
I'll explain that later tonight. That can't be fixed. The ordinances, their caption's gonna have to be read regardless.
Okay. Item A, discuss and or take action on second reading for Bill 210433, ordinance number 855, an ordinance to change the zoning of certain property in the city of Fairview, Tennessee, located at 7161 Cox Pike, owned by Richard W. McCord and Dennis R. McCord, as shown on Williamson County Tax Map 42H, Group C, Partial 2.01, from RS 40 to Town Center Overlay District, without designation.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item B, discuss and or take action on second reading of Bill 2014-34, ordinance number 856, an ordinance to change the zoning of certain property in the city of Fairview, Tennessee, located at 7159 Cox Pike, owned by Roger E. Lampley and Deborah Hall Lampley, as shown on Williamson County Tax Map 42H, Group C, Partial 2.02, from RS 40 to Town Overlay District, without designation. Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item C, discuss and take action on second reading of Bill number 2014-35, ordinance number 857, an ordinance to change the zoning of certain property in the city of Fairview, Tennessee, located at 7119 Cox Pike, owned by Elton C. Hall and Deborah L. Hall, as shown on Williamson County Tax Map 42H, Partial 3.00, from RS 40 to Town Center Overlay District, without designation, approximately 0.58 acres. Move to approve.
Second.
First and second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item D, discuss and take action on second reading of Bill number 2014-36, an ordinance Number 858, an ordinance to change the zoning of certain property in the city of Fairview, Tennessee, located at 7151 Cox Pike, owned by Elton C. Hall and Deborah L. Hall, as shown on Williamson County Tax Map 42H, parcel 3.00, from RS40 to Town Center Overlay District without designation, approximately 1.30 acres. Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and second. Any discussion?
Mayor, just quickly on this one, I noticed in the ordinance, the draft, at the bottom where the property description is, it says Williamson County, Tennessee, tax map 42H, Group C, parcel 3, and it says 3 tracks, but it only lists out 2 tracks. So to whatever extent relevant, I just want to make sure that we've got everything that needed to be in there.
We do, because some of those tracks were sold, and some of them, you had to get the description for this from, deduct this, and that's the reason I'll come up here.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item E, discuss and take action on second reading of bill number 2014-37, ordinance number 859, an ordinance to change the zoning of certain property in the city of Fairview, Tennessee, located at 7114 Wiley Circle, owned by Roger E. Lampley and Deborah Hall Lampley, as shown on Williamson County Tax Map 42H, Group C, partial 1.00, from RS40 to Town Center Overlay District without designation. Move to approve.
Second.
First and second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, sorry.
Item F, discussing or take action on second reading of bill number 2014-38, ordinance number 860, an ordinance to change the zoning of certain property in the city of Fairview, Tennessee, located at 7112 Wiley Circle, owned by Roger E. Lampley and Deborah Hall Lampley, as shown on Williamson County Tax Map 42H, Group C, partial 2.00, from RS40 to Town Center Overlay District without designation. Move to approve.
Second.
First and second, any discussion?
Mayor, if I may, and this may be something that doesn't make a difference either, but I just want to check. It says RS40 to TCOD, but then if I look at the map, the subdivision plat, it has this zone as R20. Just want to make sure that we have the right designation in there, I guess.
Okay, I'll check that and be sure, and you can pass it subject to, if it's R20, we'll change, RS20, we'll change it to RS20. I think RS40 is correct, but if it's not, we'll make it subject to that, and I will check that and let Ms. Brandy know, and she can change it.
So do we need to say that publicly, or or somebody need to change their,
Change your
motion?
motion to make it contingent
So
upon.
moved.
Second.
Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item G, discussion or take action on bill number 2014-39, ordinance number 861, an ordinance to change the zoning of certain property in the city of Fairview, Tennessee, located at 7169 Cox Pike, owned by Margie McCord, as shown on Williamson County Tax Map 42, partial 179, from RS40 to Town Center Overlay District without designation, approximately 1.30 acres.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a first and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item H, discussing or take action on second reading of bill number 2014-32, ordinance number 847, an ordinance to amend to the city of Fairview, Tennessee budget for the financial year 2014-2015, Juniper Trees at City Hall. Commissioner Bissell.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. These are the trees that were recently planted, including the second Christmas tree to balance in front of City Hall and the barrier trees that were put up. And this money is being moved, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Daugherty, but this money is being moved from the tree fund to fund those trees. And I forget the exact total. Do you recall?
Yes, it's $1,270.
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, new business. Thank you. You did a great job. Okay, item A, discuss and take action on Bill 2014-42, ordinance number 860, 2664, and I'll let you read that. I know that's why you were
It's
starting.
okay. An ordinance to annex certain properties located at 7300 Stark Lane herein described below, and to incorporate same within the corporate boundaries of the city of Fairview, Tennessee, belonging to Jason Langford and Shannon Langford. All the property proposed for annexation lies within the city of Fairview, Tennessee growth boundary. And if I can add anything to that, it is a voluntary annexation. Move to approve.
Second.
We have a first and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I would like to say the owner is present.
Yes, I didn't. I'm sorry. I knew it. I should have said it for the record. Okay, item B, discuss and take action of resolution number 2614.
A resolution to adopt a plan of service for the annexation of property belonging to Jason Langford and Shannon Langford, and to be incorporated to the same within the corporate boundaries of the city of Fairview, Tennessee. The property is located at 7301 Stark Lane, Fairview, Tennessee, and is shown on the city of Fairview, Tennessee geological listing as assessment roll map 18, parcel 14. Move to approve.
Second.
Mayor,
Yes.
may I say something?
Yeah.
The only approval we need on this tonight is state statute requires that it be, go to the planning commission for their approval. So the only
Okay.
thing we need the board to do tonight, and you've acknowledged that it's here, is to refer it to the planning commission. Then they'll report back to the board and it'll be passed at a future meeting. Hopefully, the next meeting, because I spoke with Mr. Humber and he said he would get it on the planning commission meeting for January. So they'll meet before this board meets in January.
Okay.
That was
So
it.
no
That was
vote?
the intent of the motion.
Right. Okay.
I do need to fix that. For some reason, it says 7301. It's supposed to be 7300.
Okay, thank you for bringing that to our attention.
We'll make that correction.
Okay.
It's just a typo, we'll make that correction before it comes back.
Okay, so we will need to take a vote on this, or to send it
Yes,
to
to
the
refer
planning?
it to the planning
Okay.
commission.
Okay, we have a first and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's see, we're still, C, discuss and take action on resolution number 2714. Mr. Sutton.
A resolution to set this public hearing for the purpose of obtaining public comment on the annexation of certain property located at 7300 Stark Lane herein described below, and to incorporate same within the corporate boundaries of the city of Fairview, Tennessee growth boundary. The property is to be annexed is located in the Williamson County, containing 5.68 acres within Williamson County, city of Fairview. Got off there. Geological listing, assessment roll, map 48, parcel 14, containing 5.68 acres, belonging to Jason Langford and Shannon Langford. Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item D, discuss and take action on resolution number 2814, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Fairview, Tennessee, to allow the purchase of a van for the police department without request for the submission of competitive bid. Fletcher.
Yeah, Mayor, on August the 7th of this year, the BOC authorized the solicitation of bids for the purchase of a van to be used by the PD for transport of prisoners to and from court. The PD has found a used 15-passenger 2012 Ford E350 for $16,800. It's one owner with a complete maintenance history. It's believed to be valued between $19,000 and $23,000. Purchase will be made out of the drug fund, which is a restricted fund, has a current balance of $111,312. As I understand it, the van that is being used now will be sold, and whatever that brings, that portion of those funds will be replaced, well, all of the funds from the sale of the van will be replaced into the drug fund, representing a portion of what we used to buy this van. As I understand it, the BOC can pass a unanimous resolution, which is why this is before the board tonight, to authorize non-competitive contracts based upon the recommendation of City Manager Hall, which in this case we have. I think there's attached a recommendation by the City Manager to the resolution. when it's clearly to the advantage of the city not to contract with competitive bidding. I'd move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. E, discuss and take action of the resubmission of resurfacing bid, Vice Mayor Sutton.
City Manager, like to open discussion on this?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We had the bid opening on the 18th, and TDOT has to approve the actual paperwork, and that was sent on to TDOT. They actually refused to approve two of the bids, one being the low bid, one being the middle bid, due to technicalities. So that left us with the high bid, which is $70-something thousand difference. And that's the reason we're asking to go forward with rebidding. One of the technicalities was the date was wrong on one thing with the same bidder. In one piece of paperwork, the date was wrong, and the next page, the date was wrong. From what I understand, TDOT is very tight on the regulations that they set forth. The other one was on their bond, wasn't on a TDOT form. So that's the reason we're asking for the, put it out for rebid. It was $70-something thousand difference is well worth going to rebid on, and that's what city engineers has advised. And so that's what I'm asking for tonight is to put it out to rebid, probably put out in January sometime.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and second. Any discussion?
Mayor, if I can, just for definition, this is not going to take place until when next year? Because they're shutting the plants down, I believe, on the 22nd.
We would not have got any
Okay.
resurfacing done because of actually this winter has caused that because it's turned off colder. And so we wasn't going to get any resurfacing done until springtime anyway.
March,
So-
April, something like that?
Yes, and so this will give us plenty of time to put it out for rebid, and we need to go forward from there.
I was just doing it, just let people know why it's
And-
going to be a
and,
while.
I hope this time, and I know I have talked to one of them personally, and he's sorry about his mistake, but he will rebid it, he said, so. Anyway, it's what it is, you know, we can't control what TDOT's regulations are.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item F, discuss and take action on contract with OpenGov. Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. We have the contract once again for OpenGov. It is $3,500 a year. There is a $1,050 implementation fee that is going to be waived for us doing it this year. This is the transparency tool that we took a look at the last meeting with the gentleman, Mr. Arnett, Ryan Arnett from California. This is something that I feel that is going to be very beneficial to the city and every way that we do business, and that will be open for anyone to take a look at. It will also be very, very, very beneficial to the auditors who come here and do the city audit and spend a couple of weeks here, 4, 5, 6 people at a time. Will now be able to do all this from their office. They may only send one person out here, and I imagine we're going to get a big break on what they're going to charge us in the future to hold our audit. I think this is going to be a great thing overall. We have had a citizen that has said if it doesn't pay for itself in the first year that he would reimburse the city. And we also have another contractor that does work for the city that is going to forego several bills. He is not going to bill the city for some stuff that he has done for us to help pay for this. Plus, Tom has found the money in the budget to cover this fully anyway. So I will move for approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and second. Discussion?
Mayor, I have some questions. I will preface my questions by saying that this sounds like a good thing. I use software as a service in my law practice, and I know that software is usually only as good as the person that's entering the information. So I'm curious as to, I guess, Tom, that you would have to enter this. What kind of workload would this put on you? That's one of my questions.
This is the first time for doing this. I'm sure there will be some hiccups early on, but according to OpenGov, I would basically be doing what I do anyway and then just creating a file, and it would upload to OpenGov. According to them, it would take 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes to do the whole process. And I'm sure the first time it'll take longer, but I mean, I was very impressed with their feelings of it would be a relatively painless transition to get the information to them.
The next question, I guess, would be, to play off what Commissioner Johnson said, is that you had found some money in the budget to pay this, and I realize that $3,500 is not a significant amount of money in the greater scheme of things. However, if I looked at the financial reports right this month, we are now in the general fund negative $590,000. I know that's going to swing hopefully soon, but I guess the question is where is this money coming from and when will we have to pay this money?
I was leaning kind of towards the way you until we had our staff meeting today, as far as where is this money going to come from? And well, after talking with the department heads, we all feel like the whole staff is going to benefit from this program, and I targeted some specific line items. Specifically line item 320, which is operating supplies, specifically 948 and also 947 in some of the departments. And then I added them up and I came up with 18,000 and some change of wiggle room line items. I talked to the department heads, and there's kind of money there for in case something breaks down or in case something happens that we need to buy something. So anyway, it's a line item for wiggle room. There's not a specific designated item for those. And then out of that, I divided the 3,500 by 18,000 and came up with 19%. And then I took all those line items and multiplied by 19%, so it would spread the cost across all the departments, and not just one department would eat the cost. So if you do it that way, it still leaves a substantial amount in every department's line item in those. It just takes out 19%, and the department heads I talked to were very positive about that.
You're comfortable with this?
Yes.
The only other question I had would, I guess, be for Mr. Cantrell. Have you read this contract?
I have, and I have no problem with it from a standpoint of, it's not an onerous contract, it's a typical type contract you get for this. And I have no problem with it from a legal standpoint, whether it's good for the city or not, I have no comment on it.
Sure. Those are my questions.
Any other discussion?
Mayor, if I could, just for a point of clarification for Commissioner Crutcher and everyone involved, Mr. Arnett said that his company will do all the uploading of everything on a monthly basis for us. He can teach us to do it when we can do it, or we can send it to him and they will do it each and every month for us.
For the same price?
Yes, that's part of it. But he just says it's so simple that Tom will be able to do it.
Well, that's it.
Even Tom can do it.
Even Tom? Well, I didn't mean it like that.
Did he say Tom was a simpleton?
Yes, Mr. Wall.
Mayor, thank you. One thing I might add, each department head can actually pull up what their budget is right there, and it keeps a calculation of where they stand in each each of their line items, which will help the time that Tom will have to normally go over those items with them. They can now once this is in place, they can pull up their own budget and line item and see what they have left in each line item they have. So I think it'll be a help to each department head. Thank you.
I know this is not going to surprise anybody, but I really do like the system, and I see the benefit for the city. But my biggest concern would be, we were sitting in a finance meeting the other day looking for ways to cut our budget, and I just worry about timing. Is this the best time to do this? Why would we do it now when we don't now know for sure how our budget's going to end up this year? It wasn't planned for, so in essence, it would be so much easier not to get it now, wait and see what our budget's going to look like, and then maybe just build it into next year's budget. To me, that would make sense.
Mayor, if I could, Mr. Arnett made it clear to us, and I think it's in the email, that if it was not passed by December 31st of this year, it would be doubled next year. That he was giving us a really, really, really good rate, since we were going to be the first one in the state to do so. The city of Franklin has it on their agenda for passage as well, so we might fall to number 2 if we didn't. Plus, it will cost us a lot more if we wait till next year.
Mayor, I just want to add one more comment. I'm going to vote for this, and I'll tell you why. I think that I think it's going to save us some money over the long haul, especially if we have that information available to the auditors come next fiscal year. And based off what Tom said, I mean, he said that he thinks this is going to be something that there's room in the budget to pay for it. It's $3,500, and that's my position on it.
I always think it's great that we can find money in the budget to come up with, but I still feel really strong, and I'm just going to make it stated. I realize a deal is a deal, and we're getting offered, a discount. But when it comes down to it at the end of the year, in all good conscience, if we are having to cut employees or look for other potential cuts to benefits, I just don't see how I can vote for it. I know $3,500 is not a whole lot in the scheme of things, and I'm hopeful that our budget year might turn out the way we want it to. But without knowing, I just can't, with all good conscience, vote for this. Any other discussion?
I'll just add to Mr. Crutcher, the money, Tom's got the money there, it's in the budget, it's been, we're not going to have to go out and find the money necessarily other than what we've already got it in the budget. And to me, it's going to be a big plus for the city, and I think it's important that we move forward with the transparency system that we're all working hard toward as far as transparency for the city to the public. I think that's very important, and that's why I'm going to vote like I'm going to vote.
Well, and I agree with the transparency, but I really feel like the things that we have, and we can always get better, and this is a great system. So I'm not in any way saying the system's not good. But I already think that we've started making those steps. The city manager's report, I mean, that gives us a lot of information. I think some of the things that, Tom has been able to do will help. So with that being said, it's not about transparency, and I know it seems like it'll be a great system, but just, I don't know about timing. I mean, it seems like the wrong time to me. Any other discussion?
If I could, Mayor. I plan to vote for it, not because of the transparency issue. I think you're absolutely correct. I think we have made many strides in doing that. And in fact, some of the public that call for transparency already has access to this data. We've already taken steps to provide access to the data. I'm doing it because, in answer to Commissioner Crutcher's question, Mr. Doherty shared with us that he believes it will make us a better operation, that the line management that is actually responsible for executing the budget will have better information sooner, and from that, they can make better decisions that in the long run can take a $3,500 investment and can turn that into not just enough savings to cover itself, can turn it into better management decisions, which will, in essence, help us all the way across the board in the budget. So I acknowledge and, everything you're saying about it, but $3,500 to me on the idea that it's going to make us a more efficient operation, I think will return the investment. And so I'm supportive. And since we have the ability to void the contract after 1 year, if we do not think it's helping us, then I think it's a minimal investment to see if it doesn't provide that payback.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Mayor, if I could, I'll just elaborate on the fact that it's really going to pay for it. It's on the front end here through the donation from our webmaster. I don't know if you saw the email yesterday
did,
that he
and
sent
I
to us,
responded.
but he is forfeiting billing the city money that's already in the budget to pay him. He has decided that this is going to be such a good thing for the city that he doesn't even want to be paid. He also took it a step further, and he is buying us a machine and donating it to the city that will live stream our meetings to YouTube. So you can watch it on your smartphone, or you can watch it at home on your computer if you don't have AT&T or Comcast. So the $3,500 figure coming out of the budget, this thing is paid for, and it's going to pay for itself several times throughout the next year. So that's all.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Motion carries. Item G, discuss and take action of Bill 2014-43, ordinance number 865, an ordinance to amend the City of Fairview, Tennessee Municipal Title 13 Property Maintenance Regs, Chapter 4, Tree Planting and Protection, Section 13409, Community Tree Plan. Mr. Sutton. Vice Mayor Sutton.
That's okay. Mayor, after looking at this and looking over the definition given by the arborist, a very clear definition of what it can be used for and what it can't be used for, I'd like to remove this bill, feeling that we don't need to change the ordinance at this time.
If you don't change the ordinance, you don't get that definition in the ordinance.
There have been other legal
was the reason.
opinions. There's been other legal opinions, Larry, saying that it does not need to be put in there.
That's up to you, but what's wrong with, we're being, clear on stuff. We put in here landscaping is defined. It's in your ordinance. I mean, if you adopt this, it's in the ordinance. And I added additionally, something that's not in there, that is in the revision, that this ordinance shall be given a liberal construction by any and all authorities, such as elected boards, appointed boards, courts of law and equity, who may be required to interpret the word/term landscaping to implement the overall purpose or purposes of the ordinance. I mean, that way you don't have any conflict as to what type of interpretation you give. It basically gives you, except for building buildings out of it, the carte blanche to say, if you're going to interpret this, you put a liberal construction on it to do what the ordinance said. Now, if you don't want to change it, that's fine with me. I don't care. I just think it would be, if somebody ever challenged it, you'd have a better chance of defending it with the amended ordinance than you do with the unamended ordinance, because the people that are saying this, I have nothing against them, but they're not the ones going to have to defend it. The city is.
Well, I just express my opinion. I think with the definition we have from a certified arbiter that we don't need that. It's expressed, it's in the records, it's in the minutes of the meetings. I feel like it's sufficient for what the goal was, to get it done without changing it.
But that don't, I mean, that's up to you, but
Okay.
again, he's not gonna be the one that's gonna have to defend it, this city is. And you speak from your minutes, but minutes don't speak as loud as an ordinance does.
I understand.
So that's up to you.
I'm just,
Any
I'm
other-
removing it.
Oh, removing it?
Yeah.
Any discussion
There's,
besides?
there's no action to be taken,
Okay.
Mayor.
That-
It's, he's the sponsor, he can remove it, it's done.
Okay.
It's a dead issue.
Okay. That brings us to 10 city manager items for discussion. Let's see.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Board of Commissioners. I have 4 or 5 items I'd like to recognize tonight. One of them being the Fairview Middle School and High School Choir that sang caroling at our Christmas tree lighting. I thought they did a wonderful job. Their director, Ms. Kristen Houck, does a fantastic job with all those students. I was actually in another concert Saturday night and enjoyed it just as much then as I did during the Christmas tree lighting. Anyway, I want to thank them on behalf of the city. On the 23rd will be the bid opening for the library on the 23rd at 2 p.m., and I will be in attendance to see where we stand on the bid opening. Hopefully, it'll be way under what we've offered so far. So I'll be there for that. Frank Humber met yesterday. Was it yesterday you met with Stanley Ladd?
Yes.
Yes. He does now have what we'd want as far as lighting goes on 100 Highway to light up between Tractor Supply and Walmart, plus the fact he's also going to look at History Village and also the intersection of Highway 100 and Deer Ridge, which is a very dangerous situation there as far as at night. You back can't see where to turn or cross over. So we hopefully get a couple of lights there. And he's looked at that, and did he give you any indication when you might be putting this in the works to get done?
He said he was going to come back in 2 weeks and finalize his plans and
Okay.
then make it into a work order. So
Okay, all right.
should be soon.
I want to thank the Brandy, the Parks crew, the Public Works crew for all their hard work of decorating the Christmas trees and the wreaths and everything on City Hall. It does look great at night. Hopefully this time next year we can have them on the light poles where they'll be lit up. And so that's one thing Frank and I have already discussed, that we're going to talk to this same gentleman about getting a way to light those on the poles. Not going to put it off till August. We're going to approach it in January to make sure we got a whole year to make sure it's done. So, but anyway, that will be in progress right in January. And tonight I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I've enjoyed the year, and I look forward to better things in the future.
Mayor, if I could, City Manager, have we had any more discussion on lighting up city signs? The welcome signs?
Mitch Dowdy says he still wants to do it for us. And as y'all well know, he was the one that lit up the other side of the Christmas tree over there. Brian and Justin and Randy dug the trench for him. And here would it go when the lights was on Saturday evening. Mitch had taken care of it, and they almost looked simultaneous to me when it was lit up. I couldn't, as quick as I could turn this way, they were both lit up, so, you know, but Mitch took care of taking the conduit and
Yeah, did a good job.
and did a great job for us, so that's,
So if next time you talk to him, and I know he's doing most of this on his own, just to help the city out and stuff,
Yes.
but just ask him when next possibly, I get calls about that all the time.
yes.
They get into Fairview and don't know they're here yet.
If I could add some information to that, because the problem is that in the one on the east side of town is the pole that they'll have to attach to would require us to get an easement across that person's driveway. And that is going to require something that Mitch really can't do because it's the city of Fairview that will have to work that issue. Frank, I guess, can do that on Sunday afternoons when he gets around to it, and then at History Village, the problem is the distance from the pole, and the pole doesn't have the proper equipment on it that we would need to get into that. So it's going to be significantly more expensive because they're gonna have to put a transformer out there in order for us to do that. So unlike some of the other projects that he's been able to we've done some work and he's come in and done the finishing work, these two are going to be more significant. And so in my communications with him, I've told him that since it would cost more money and given our current situation, that it's not as high a priority as some of this other stuff because of the amount of money. We're gonna have to have some significant discussion about that, because it is gonna cost us some money to get that done.
Yeah, I know that the easement's going to take some work, but we've already got permission from the landowner out there on the east side.
Well, I think they will do it.
Oh, they've
It's
already
just,
said they
it's just a significant distance from where they'll have to go to where he hooks up, and we have to have a meter and all this other stuff. So it's just a little more expensive than some of the stuff we've asked him to do at the History Village and asked him to do, for our trees out here. So I just think right now it's given where we are in the budget, we just haven't been pressing on him to do it because we know it's gonna cost, there is some cost he's gonna have to pass on to us. And Middle Tennessee's is not going to do it for free, so.
Okay, Mr. Humber?
I don't have any comments, Mayor, unless there's questions.
Anybody? Okay, Mr. Cantrell?
Thank you, Mayor. I have about 3 things, and I'll make them short because they're not on the agenda. It's more or less stuff that to inform the board. Mr. Vice Mayor Sutton asked me about an item at the last Board of Zoning Appeals meeting, and I didn't get to see him to talk with him the night before we got here. Do you have any objection if I share this with you and the board at the same time?
Since I don't remember what it is, go ahead.
It was about, okay.
Hey, one second, I just need to make sure, because I went out of order, I didn't get all the other city staff. Would that matter? I mean, because it's the agenda? Okay. Okay, go ahead. I just was going in my order there.
No, if you
Okay.
want, go ahead and get them in order, and I'll come back and so.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I just
Okay.
wanted to make sure we weren't missing out.
Mr. Vice Mayor Sutton is also an ex officio member of the Board of Zoning Appeals. And the question he asked me was, and I know he was present when a couple of those meetings happened, there are times when the Board of Zoning Appeals meets, and it only meets at the call, that we've had people here ready to present something to the Board of Zoning Appeals, and we didn't have a quorum. We had 2 members of the Board of Zoning Appeals present, and the ex officio member, but he couldn't constitute a quorum. You get into situations where you have 3 members, which constitutes a quorum, but we have an ordinance that requires at least 3 positive votes. And if one of them votes nay and 2 vote yea, then you have to bring it back to the next board meeting. And the question that he asked me, to make a long story short, was, is it possible that I could be made a voting member in those situations so that people don't, I know one time we had, in the entity that was involved, I won't mention, I'm sure they remember it, and I'm sure Vice Mayor remembers it, they came the 3rd time before we got a quorum. There was really no opposition to it, but we couldn't proceed with anything other than we don't have a quorum, we're dismissed. And he asked me if I'd look into that. Before I made a statement, I wanted to see, number 1, how the board was constituted, by under what authority, and number 2, what state law said about it. And basically, there would be no problem in our ordinance. The state statute from which this was created allows for 5 members. The board appoints those 5 voting members and an ex officio member to keep the board up to date. But we could, we'd have to revise the ordinance, the zoning ordinance, 16104.3, to allow him to be a voting member in the limited cases that there was not a tie. You can't have a tie with 5, but if you've got 4, you can have 2 and 2. And in the cases where they don't have a quorum. Other times, I mean, I don't have any problem. He's up to date on it. He participates in all the discussion. He does everything except make motions and vote. So it's like having an alternate juror. And I would like, I don't want to take any, we can't take a vote on it, but what I'd like to do is present this to the board at the next meeting, an ordinance to revise or to amend the membership and in 16104.3 for the members and the membership. And of course, being a zoning ordinance amendment, it would have to be referred by this board to the planning commission, get their input, and then come back and have, you can have the first reading and make a reference and have the second reading after, or you can send it and have both readings after. That would be up to you. But I'd like to present that to the board because it would make that Board of Zoning Appeals much more flexible and eliminate some of the having to make 2 or 3 trips to get something done, putting not only the members of the board making extra trips, but the people who have business to conduct before that board at an inconvenience. And I'd like to present that to the board at the next meeting. The second thing that I have, at the last meeting, you remember we passed a resolution in reference to setting up the consent agenda. And I thought I might be able to find something that would do what Commissioner Bissell wanted, but there is absolutely no way that you can get out of legally reading ordinance captions in a consent resolution. You only have to take one vote, but and I've been here 10 years, and this is the first time we ever had 7 rezonings at once. You normally wouldn't have that. It put a little more work on the mayor, take a little bit of work off Ms. Brandy. She won't have to attach the amendments because I researched this in great detail. And I'll quote to you, I'm going to read it so I'll make sure and get it right, from our city charter, which everyone knows is what breathes life into this city, C-28, Section 620-215. It's called Ordinance Procedure. And I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to read the relevant part. Every ordinance shall be read 2 different days in open session before its adoption, and not less than 1 week shall elapse. That's fine. Between first and second reading in any ordinance not so read shall be null and void. And we have a city ordinance which they allow us to do, Section 1-106, which opts out of reading the entire bill. You can imagine how long that would have taken tonight, to allow for reading of the caption. But we have a charter under the mayor, city manager charter, and there is no way to get out of reading that caption. What you can do is list your consent. You're going to have listed those items in your consent decree, or your consent agenda. And if 2 and 4 are ordinances, you just read those captions and nothing else and go on and take your vote. But you cannot get out of that. And to answer Commissioner Bissell's question, I have not researched county charters. County charters are totally different. Doesn't require that. It requires some other things. But that's the reason the county can do this. It's not required of them to do that. The mayor-alderman charter does not require that specific thing. But we are under the mayor-commissioner charter, and it does require it. And what that means when it says it's null and void means exactly what it says. You pass an ordinance, it means nothing if you don't read the caption. And what it would require, there's no ambiguity there. The way you interpret statutes is you take the words and attach the ordinary customary meaning. I don't have to pull out Webster's to know what null and void means. The problem is if I want to put, and the board let them know that, if you pass something that you know to be null and void, that's one of the items required and for someone to institute an ouster suit. If you did it one time and you didn't know it, but you continuously do it, somebody could challenge you on it. And I will revise that resolution. What I plan to do is repeal it and substitute a totally new one, and I'll have that for you next week. And what we can do, if we have any items that needs to go on the consent agenda, with the board's permission, when you have the approval of the agenda, we'll move the second reading of the changing of the order of the business agenda that includes the consent agenda, and we'll move the resolution up ahead of the consent agenda. Resolution is enforceable when it's passed. That will be the second reading of your ordinance to change the agenda. And then if you have a consent agenda, if you move those up to the top, then you can do the consent agenda at at the next meeting. I just want to let you know, if you can't get a vote or anything like that, just want to let you know where I'm coming from. And also there's one other type of charter, the home rule charter, and I haven't looked correctly at the home rule charter, but it kind of means what it says. You just kind of make it up as you go. So it doesn't support or affect that, but I just want to make the board aware. The last thing that I have is, I have been here either 9 or 10 years. I didn't look to see which date that I came, so forgive me if it's 9 and I'm saying they're 10. And it's been a pleasure to work with you again this year. I want to wish everyone, this board, the various other boards that I meet with, the few boards that I don't meet with, and the citizens of the city of Fairview, a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, because I won't be back before then, and be safe. And I want to say one other thing about Miss Brandy. She not only works with the city, but she helps a great deal in helping keep me straight, especially, scheduling of what's going to come when and work. I just prepare the bills, and she tells me, I'm going to put it here. Is that okay with you? She does a fine job, and she's very deserving. Thank you, and have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Commissioner Basel, did you have something you were going to ask? I heard you. Okay, you're good.
Thank you, Doc.
Anybody else have a question for the city attorney? Okay. I guess maybe you're up, Mr. Daugherty?
Yes, I think we have, I think that the PowerPoint is prepared if you want to see it. I don't know, with the city manager report and the finance report, I didn't know if we were moving for time's sake, if there's any questions. You're welcome to ask me. If you want me to run through the PowerPoint, I can. I just, and especially with that finance report and the city manager report being on the website as well, I don't know what y'all want. So I'm just going to say, do you have any questions, or if you want to see the slides that's already been presented, I can do that.
Well, I say we're doing great on time, and show off your work. I mean, if you did it, let's see it. I'm sure it might help the citizens. Maybe do a quick version of it,
Okay. Have to do it.
Mark, you're not done yet.
No, he's, okay. See if I can work my, whoops.
Mark?
Okay. For November revenues, we came in at $400,112. Again, sales tax led the way. We did bring in some property taxes, was second in line in our revenues. We did get a TVA in lieu of tax payment, which we glad to see that. And I did some research on that payment because it's supposed to be a quarterly payment, but it is quarterly, but not exactly. She gave me the months, and we will get paid 4 times. It's just not exactly quarterly. Our expenditures came in at $416,565. We had, of course, our salaries, and we had property and liability insurance came out this month. On our projections through, we projected $402,940 in revenue. We brought in $400,112 for a shortfall of $2,828 for the month. Year to date, we projected $1,852,569. We brought in, now this is as of November 30th. We brought in $1,783,732 for a $68,837 shortfall. So we're a little bit, as of November 30th, a little bit behind where we thought we'd be in revenue. For our expenditures, we brought in, we expected to spend $395,493. We actually spent $416,565 for an overage of $21,072. Year-to-date, we expected to spend $2,238,572. We spent $2,161,378 for $77,194. And if you take the difference of those two, we're just a little over $8,000 ahead. By what I mean is we're the difference between expenditures and revenues of where we thought we'd be this time of year. Year-to-date revenues is just a breakdown of our year-to-date revenues. A breakdown of our year-to-date expenditures. As you can see, we have spent year-to-date $377,635 more than we brought in. This is expected, but I like to, we can't operate like this the whole year. We are going into our season where our revenues should outgain our expenditures substantially. As you can see, the peak last year in December, for last year for December, we're fixing to hit that. But as far as comparing this year to last year at the same time, at the end of November, we are ahead in revenues $367,350. If you just want to compare bring-ins from this time last year to this year. And on expenditures, we have spent $333,696 less this time last year than we did this time last year. So if you look at it, it's about a $700,000 turnaround in financial position as we were this time last year. The good news is I expect revenues to continue to climb. We hopefully will see what Black Friday did in January, and then of course the other most of the Christmas shopping season we'll see in February. We are looking at ways as cutting on the expenditures as well, but for the most part we're mainly watching our revenue trends. But I feel like as this gap right here will close as the year goes, because about this time last year we really started pulling on the reins. So I think the gap will narrow as far as our expenditure differentiations. And that's it. Any questions?
Thank you.
Can I ask a question if I may, Mayor? Does this include the figures that you showed me earlier tonight when I did some practice work?
No, sir, that's a December revenue. I showed you last night.
Can you?
Could you just share the
Can you
figure
share
that's
what-
just come in this week?
I've had
Approximate figures.
I have had a couple of good days. Our escrow payments have started to come in, and we brought in right at $400,000. If you it's good to see.
Thank you.
Now, there was a couple things that you were holding to pay, or that amount will cover those things to the end?
Yes, ma'am. Cash flow is looking much more healthy after the next two deposits.
And we've learned that Tom is real creative.
I believe you also told me, Tom, that you've got for deposit for tomorrow's an additional $77,000 roughly in property tax.
Yes, sir. I was adding that in. Today's was right at 320, and then tomorrow's should be 80, around 80,
Good news, good news.
to equal the 400.
And so do you still feel like that March will be the turning point where we'll be able to kind of get a good idea on the rest of the year's budget?
Yes, the telltale sign, as the finance committee, and I'm in agreement with, is what the sales tax revenue does. Until it's in the bank, or it's hard to speculate, but I feel really good, and just, my gut is, I believe a lot of folks are finding out about our nice Walmart. I mean, I've seen more Davidson County tags every day I go out there. I think folks are coming from that end now. I know, I've seen a couple of folks from West Haven. I've seen a lot of Davidson County tags that, you know, just, they like our store, and I love it. But, anyway, at the same time, there's a lot of other exciting things going on with building permits, and as spring comes, I'm very optimistic. I still think we need to really watch our spending and keep going on the stabilization plan, but as far as I feel like I'm in a breathe out moment.
I'm so glad to know Tom's breathing.
Just a little bit of comment. I know some people from West Haven, and they've told me actually it's closer to come out here than it is to go to Cool Springs, and a lot less traffic. So that's a positive point for the reason they're coming out here.
I sat at the chamber dinner with the assistant manager from Walmart, and he said that the week of Black Friday was their first $1 million week. So I think I may have already shared that with some folks, but so that's good news.
Anything else, Mr. Darty? Okay, did you have anything for us tonight, Mr. Sutton?
No, I was joking with you.
I know, but he's here, so he can share something with the,
I don't have much of anything really other than, I just wanted to say that I thought the parade went very well. And I hope everybody enjoyed that, as well as I'd like to thank my officers personally for the hard work that they're doing. Most of them are going above and beyond, hourly, 10, 12, 14-hour days to get what we're needing to get accomplished. It's making a big difference, and hopefully the city's going to see some of that in the future. Thank you.
thank you. Okay, I think I've scoured the room for all city staff. Mr. Hall has something else to add?
I believe Keith has a little announcement about the parking, and I want to address the Christmas parade one more time myself.
Okay. Oh, yeah, there is, I see Keith now. He's hiding.
I just want to announce the memorial tree this Saturday, December 20th, from 12 to 3 p.m. And it's just anybody that wants to bring an ornament for remembering somebody that they may have lost, or, you know, making best wishes. Please come out and enjoy. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor. This was the first year that we had created the safety emergency lane. It went off perfect, and I want to thank the police department and the public works boys as they put the cones out. By the time we got through with the parade and headed back, cones were already up and out of the way, and so we had no issues with the safety lane. And so I'm tickled to death with the work that those two outfits did, the police department and the public works boys. I forgot to mention that earlier. So thanks for bringing Mark back up and keeping my mind focused.
Okay. Commissioner Basell?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things. First one, I guess, is for Mr. Umber. The street lights, and I recognize the ones on Highway 100 are priority, but there was, in that package that we had passed, there was some subdivisions that were supposed to get some additional street lights. Have you had any conversations, have you gotten to that yet, or had any conversations with them about that?
With Middle Tennessee?
Yes, sir.
No, I think we were going to try and, take care of highway first, and then as we get to the point where the money is available, then we're going to those subdivisions. We'll look at that. That was something we were holding that didn't have to be spent. Tom wouldn't let me. That's really what happened. He wouldn't let me till now.
Yeah, I understand that. That brings me to my second question, which will be, I guess, to Mr. Hall. We approved last year a tote board and a voting system up here and I just want to make sure, I don't expect us to go out and buy it right now because of the financial situation, but I want to make sure that doesn't get lost in the wash too. I think that's very important, that we do move to have that system of electronic voting up here where it shows up here and instead of the yay, nay, or the ballot, or it just makes everything a lot more efficient for us. So I just want to make sure it's not lost, it's just being deferred.
It's been deferred mostly, but I'm actually going back down to the county's meeting in January, and according to their city attorney, we all can go without violating sunshine law as long as y'all don't discuss anything. So anybody that wants to go along with me at that night is more than welcome to see how their system works. And, I'd like for y'all to really see it. It does work good, so if, I'll put out an email to each one of y'all that can spare the time to go. And, it's also be good relations between Fairview and the county to let them know that we're coming down to be at their meetings too. So, but it is still on our agenda to get done.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Other than wishing everybody a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and if you travel during this period, please be safe. And that's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Commissioner Crutcher?
Just want to say thanks to everyone that came out to the Community Parks Day. It was the first Community Parks Day that we had. We planted trees over in the Nature Park. I think we planted about 150 trees in a few hours. So there was a great turnout. It was an excellent event. And again, just wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Commissioner Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to add something to next month's agenda. I guess it'll be a month from tonight since we have moved our first meeting. It is for discussion and/or action on the resolution asking the General Assembly to make a change to our charter by private act, allowing for such changes regarding the consent agenda and how it pertains to our charter. So if we could get that put on our agenda, it will take a 2/3 vote, and Jeremy will carry that to the State House from our body. And that'll be it. Merry Christmas.
Vice Mayor Sutton?
I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Thank all the employees in the city from each and every department for all the hard work they've done this year. I'm constantly reminded of the progress that the city has made in the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years compared to what it was, call it 8 years ago. When I moved here about 11 years ago, 12 years ago, we had a used tire store, a used honky-tonk, we had a used tool store, we had all this was right out front of here, and it's gone. And look what we're looking at now. We're looking at almost 800 new jobs. We've been truly blessed. This city's been truly blessed in the last several years for growth, and we're progressing along with that. I just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody, and be mindful of the people that don't have. Be mindful of people that we might be able to help. Look for somebody to help this season. They're out there. So I just want to wish everybody Merry Christmas, and thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you. Great advice. I just want to take a moment to let y'all know that love this report. I know a lot of citizens do too. But you notice this picture on the front page. This is the new duo. That's what we got called. Wayne and Frank and even Tom's gone. We have gone to a lot of meetings, just trying to make sure Fairview has a face. And So I've had a great time meeting a lot of people, and then Mr. Hall has been gracious enough to carry me around and make sure that we are meeting the right people, and we've had like the Mayor's Caucus, got to know a lot of people, but then also just recently, we had the Williamson County Chamber and the Williamson County Economic Development. We got to sit down, talk about the future of Fairview, talk about some wishes for our community, and it's just really exciting times. I know Commissioner Bassell and Crutcher, and you weren't there that day, but Johnson, they all got to meet the folks that had come out, Matt Largen and Amanda Murray. And so anyway, it's great. It's a good time to be in Fairview. It's exciting. If you wonder what your city staff is doing, they're working hard. And I've been really impressed with that and just what they're trying to do to move us forward. And we have a lot of grants on the table. They're grants that they inherited and didn't have enough motion to them. They are getting the legs on them and moving them, and I'm very thankful for that. The farmer's market, did we say that last meeting? I don't know if we were there, but we did find out we did get approval for a grant for farmer's market, and you can elaborate. I think we did say it. I may be repetitive, but I'm excited.
We were actually saying that it was in the progress, but it was actually announced, a week or so ago
Yeah.
at the GNRC that Shannon went with us also on, and that same day of the Mayor's Caucus. But, that kind of surprised me that we were going to be announced that day, and I know that was the day you was introduced as the new mayor. That was a very blessed day, I thought. We met a lot of people there that day, but it was good to get that announcement, and we're moving forward with a couple of other grants that Frank is actually sending today or yesterday. That'll help out on that, on our match part of that today. So we're trying to find other grants that'll help our part of the match. So to lower our outlay on the farmer's market, and it's been really received very well in this town. I mean, there's a lot of people that are really on board with wanting this farmer's market here. And of course, the site is out at the History Village, and the thing about it is the USDA has a new person involved, and they've actually fell in love with this site. Tim Roach and Lola has, and I won't try to pronounce her last name, but they've actually fell in love with the site that we've chosen. So I think it's going to go well. So anyway.
Thank you. Again, and Amanda was also with Williams County Economic Development, gave us some potential other grants. So we're very excited. So I just wanted to share that with everybody, because I know a lot of times you don't get to see that part of it. But I think as commissioners, we're all attending meetings. We're all trying to get out there, make sure that they know that we are here. And I want our name on some of these lists with lots of grants. There's money out there. If we can be a part of that, that is exciting. Get some of the work that we need done for growth. And just being ready. I mean, being ready for the growth that's happening, whether we're moving or not. So I think that is just going to be huge, and I just wanted to let everybody know that I've seen how hard these guys are working, and I appreciate it. Merry Christmas to everybody. I'm thrilled to be here and us in this year, and I'm thrilled about the next year to come and what we can do together, working together. So to everybody who's here tonight, have a very Merry Christmas, and to city staff, thank you. Adjourned.